Thank you.
Olivia texted.
Yeah, she
did.
She just texted you?
Yeah.
This is Olivia.
She texted my boyfriend.
Would there ever be a chance that Taylor's done some acting too? Could you guys
Say
ever
again?
Taylor's done some acting too.
She
Any
has,
chance
yeah.
you guys would ever do anything together?
It's not planned at the moment, but who knows?
I know, it'd be great. We got easy chemistry. That would be the
There you
thing,
go.
right? I know. I will enjoy yourself tonight.
Thank you.
So, William Bowery is Joe. Yeah, he was just singing it the way that the whole first verse is.
Wow.
And so I was entranced and asked if we could keep writing that one. And it was pretty obvious that it should be a duet because he's got such a low voice and it sounded really good sung down there and in that register.
If you thought that Joe Alwyn, the 33-year-old British actor who spent 6 years in a relationship with Taylor Swift before their quiet and mysteriously private breakup in early 2023, had finally managed to escape the spotlight and move on peacefully from his high-profile romance with one of the most famous and lyrically vengeful songwriters in the entire music industry, then you need to think again because Taylor Swift has just dropped what can only be described as an absolutely devastating, brilliantly crafted, and unmistakably pointed Shakespearean shade bomb directly aimed at her ex-boyfriend. And the timing could not possibly be more perfect, more calculated, or more deliciously dramatic given that Joe has just starred in a brand new film adaptation of Hamlet that has thrust him back into the public conversation at the exact moment when Taylor decided to release her latest musical commentary on their failed relationship. A warm welcome to Celebrity Updates. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the latest updates and hot gossip on the Kardashians and your favorite celebrities.
In terms of her political stance, we haven't really seen that before.
I think it's great. I think it's important. And
That is one of the most heartbreaking tales of unrequited love I've ever heard in my entire life. And it shouldn't be written by somebody who is honestly and obviously very much in love. So I don't know how you got there.
Well, Joe and I really love sad songs. We've always bonded over music, so it was...
Clearly, you've written some of the saddest songs of your career
We
together.
write the
What's going
saddest
on?
songs. We just really love sad songs. What can I say? I say it was a surprise that we started writing together, but in a way it wasn't because we have always bonded over music and had the same musical tastes, and he's always the person who's showing me songs by artists, and then they become my favorite songs or whatever.
'Cause honey, you're so you never grow old, it is evergreen.
91.89.
Makes this particular song so extraordinarily compelling, so devastatingly effective, and so brilliantly executed is the way that Taylor has woven together classic Shakespearean imagery, literary references that any educated listener would immediately recognize, and deeply personal emotional revelations that paint a picture of a woman who felt trapped, diminished, and nearly destroyed by a relationship that appeared perfect and enviable from the outside, but was apparently something quite different behind closed doors where the cameras could not reach and the public could not see the reality of what was actually happening between these two people who seemed so compatible and so committed to protecting their privacy. On the companion track, The Fate of Ophelia, which serves as a continuation of the themes and narrative that Taylor established in The Life of a Showgirl, Taylor completely flips the traditional Shakespearean tragedy of Ophelia's drowning on its head, transforming what is universally understood as one of the most heartbreaking and devastating moments in all of classic literature into a story of rescue, redemption, and romantic salvation that has Swifties absolutely screaming with excitement, validation, and appreciation for the way their beloved artist has turned her pain into art while simultaneously celebrating her current relationship with Travis Kelce, who appears to be the hero of this particular narrative and the man who saved Taylor from the emotional depths where Joe allegedly left her drowning. The line that has generated the most discussion, analysis, and passionate debate among fans who have spent countless hours dissecting the lyrics and connecting them to Taylor's real-life experiences is when she sings about being dug out of my grave, which is a metaphor so powerful, so visceral, and so emotionally devastating that it leaves absolutely no room for misinterpretation about just how low Taylor felt during and after her relationship with Joe ended, suggesting that she was not just sad or disappointed but actually felt as though she had died emotionally and been buried under the weight of whatever challenges, disappointments, or fundamental incompatibilities plagued their 6-year romance that the public believed was solid, stable, and destined for marriage. Fans are absolutely convinced, and frankly the evidence is overwhelmingly compelling, that this particular line is all about Travis Kelce, the 35-year-old Kansas City Chiefs tight end who has become Taylor's current romantic partner and who seems to have brought joy, excitement, public affection, and emotional vitality back into her life in ways that her relationship with the intensely private, publicity-avoiding, and emotionally reserved Joe Alwyn apparently never could or never did. During their 6 years together, which now seems in retrospect to have been a period of isolation, constraint, and emotional suppression rather than the peaceful and mature relationship that many observers assumed it was based on the limited information that either Taylor or Joe shared with the public. Taylor is basically saying, with a kind of poetic clarity and emotional honesty that has made her one of the most celebrated and respected songwriters of her generation, that she went from experiencing Ophelia-level despair, drowning in her own sadness and feeling completely helpless and doomed to a tragic ending, to achieving full-on redemption, emotional resurrection, and genuine happiness thanks to her fiancé Travis, though it is worth noting that while many fans and media outlets have referred to Travis as Taylor's fiancé, there has been no official confirmation of an engagement despite the constant speculation, endless rumors, and fervent hopes of millions of Swifties who desperately want to see their favorite artist find lasting love and happiness after so many public relationships that ended in heartbreak and inspired countless songs. The fact that Taylor is clearly choosing Travis over Joe, celebrating her current relationship while simultaneously throwing shade at her previous one, becomes even more deliciously ironic and perfectly timed when you consider that Joe Alwyn, the man who is allegedly the subject of Taylor's latest musical dragging, just starred in a brand new movie adaptation of Hamlet, the classic Shakespearean tragedy that gave us the character of Ophelia, whose story Taylor is now rewriting and reclaiming as her own narrative of survival and redemption, rather than accepting the traditional ending of tragic death and loss that Shakespeare wrote for the doomed Danish maiden. The connection between Taylor's choice to use Ophelia as her central metaphor and Joe's decision to appear in a Hamlet adaptation is simply too obvious, too perfectly timed, and too symbolically loaded to be mere coincidence, leading fans to believe that Taylor either knew about Joe's involvement in the film and deliberately crafted her lyrics as a response, or that the universe has simply aligned in the most poetically perfect way possible to create this moment of literary and romantic synchronicity that allows Taylor to reclaim a Shakespearean narrative, while her ex-boyfriend literally embodies the world of Hamlet on screen. Then there is another line that has Swifties absolutely convinced that Taylor is throwing deliberate, calculated, and absolutely devastating shade at her super low-key, almost invisible, and frustratingly private 6-year relationship with Joe when she sings, "All that time, I sat alone in my tower / you were just honing your powers," which fans interpret as Taylor's way of saying that while she was isolated, hidden away from the public eye, and essentially locked away like Rapunzel in a tower. During her relationship with the publicity-shy British actor, Joe was off developing his career, building his acting resume, and presumably benefiting from the credibility and increased profile that came with being Taylor Swift's long-term boyfriend, while she sacrificed her own natural inclination toward connection with her fans and public visibility. This particular lyric has sparked extensive debate and passionate discussion among Swifties about whether Taylor felt that her relationship with Joe required her to diminish herself, hide her naturally vibrant and public personality, and essentially become smaller and quieter to accommodate his preference for privacy and his apparent discomfort with the level of fame, scrutiny, and public attention that inevitably comes with being romantically involved with one of the biggest pop stars on the entire planet. The contrast between Taylor's relationship with Joe, which was characterized by almost no public appearances together, very few photographs, minimal social media interaction, and a general sense that Taylor was actively trying to protect Joe from the spotlight and shield their relationship from public consumption, and her current relationship with Travis Kelce, which has been remarkably public, joyful, affectionate, and celebrated with Taylor regularly attending his football games, Travis showing up to support her at her concerts, and both of them seeming genuinely happy to share their relationship with the world, could not possibly be more stark or more telling about what Taylor apparently needs and values in a romantic partnership. Whether these songs are really, truly, and definitively about Joe Alwyn, or whether they represent a more generalized commentary on past relationships, emotional growth, and the journey from heartbreak to happiness, one thing is absolutely certain and cannot be denied, which is that Joe Alwyn is definitely not here for all this extra attention, renewed public interest, and constant speculation about his past relationship with Taylor Swift, as he has recently stated in interviews that he has moved on completely from that chapter of his life and that, to be totally honest, he believes that Swifties should probably move on as well rather than continuing to dissect, analyze, and discuss a relationship that ended over a year ago and that involved two real people with real feelings rather than just characters in Taylor's ongoing musical narrative.